Welcome to the Untrapped Podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
We're live. What's up? It's Keith Kalfas with the Untrapped Podcast, live on all platforms and on the Untrapped Podcast on Spotify and Apple. We have a special guest for you today, and I'm super excited because we have Erica Krupin. She built this multiple six-figure empire in Michigan with Kroopin's Poopin, Scoopin, and she's become a social media influencer. I see her posting fire content all over social media. She's getting interviewed. I could see her doing public speaking soon. And I looked up her business here. She has 436 positive 5-star reviews in her business. Excellent customer service. And I see that the vehicles are all wrapped in pink. So you've built your brand out. And this is really freaking awesome. And I'm excited to have you on the show. And I want to learn about your story and how you built your business to be what it is today. What's up?
Woo! I want to say, what up, Doe?
If you're from Michigan or Metro Detroit, or we say, what up, Doe?
Yeah, when I heard you say that, I was like, oh, that's so great. That was something very much that a lot of my friends said when we were in high school. But yes, I'm Erica Krupin. I'm the owner of Kroopin's Poopin, Scoopin. And I've been in business for almost 7 years, and along the way, I've learned a lot. And I really leaned into the landscaping community when I first got started because there was no content for pooper scoopers. I became the content, and I found some of your videos, and I really leaned into watching your stuff. And with the 5-star reviews, you would always say you need to get well-worded 5-star reviews. And so with that, I literally baked that into my head. And so every time I would do a service, I would send them a copy and paste request for a well-worded 5-star review and include my Google link and send that. And I want to say I built up maybe like 200 or so just from that. And then eventually as time goes on, I automated my business. I got Jobber and just made a lot of changes within the business and upgraded it from a 2007 Chevy Cobalt with a basic magnet from Vistaprint up to a fleet of hot pink branded vehicles.
That's amazing. So all the way back to when did you have your entrepreneurial seizure? The moment where you're like, that's it. I'm going in business for myself. Nobody can stop me.
Okay, so I'm actually a little wild. So I have always had the entrepreneurial spirit, even when I was younger. Like I used to buy tongue rings and belly button rings off of eBay from China and then break those up and sell them like at school and at work. And so I've always done little things here and there. But what really ended up happening is I was working at U of M hospital because that's just where we go to work in my family. The men went and worked at the railroad. We went to the hospital, and I was literally dying inside. Like I would go to work and I would give not even 50%. I was working midnights. I probably should have been fired a long time ago, but luckily I have a really good personality, and I think my boss had some compassion for me. And then I decided I was going to start this poop scooping business after like going back to school, trying some other jobs, just trying to figure out how to get out of the hospital. Because that's one thing about the hospital is you get these like golden handcuffs put on you because you have retirement, you have paid time off, you have health care.
Pardon there.
Yeah.
I was making sure we were public on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
We're good now. Keep going.
It's so weird when I hear my voice. I'm like, whoa, that's me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start this poop scooping business because a friend of mine, I actually seen that he had started a business. And so I asked my husband, I was like, hey, you remember that Kroopin's Poopin Scoopin thing that you and your brothers talked about when you were kids? Can I use the name and start that? And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So literally the next day I went and filed for the DBA, got that all set up. And I brought a couple extra names just in case somebody else had Kroopin's Poopin Scoopin or they declined it. Of course, it was good to go. And then little by little, I started piecing things together from the internet, from what I could find online, from YouTube videos. I started reaching out to people. And from there, so that was 2018. That was like the moment.
Nice. So what were the ways that you learned to market your business, and what are some of the things that you know now that you wish you knew in the business in the beginning? Because I see you have a ton of clients, and it seems like you've rapidly gone up. But what are some stuff if you were to start over that you wish you knew?
I wish I would have allocated my money better. When I was working at the hospital, I think I barely made over $30,000. You get all the money taken out of it, and then when you get your paycheck, it's like next to nothing, right? So when I started making money poop scooping, when I hit six figures, bro, I'm rich. I'm going to buy a Gucci belt. I'm going on vacation. I'm eating good. I didn't reinvest that money into marketing or learning how to market. So how I built my business was a lot of organic content. I don't do well with written communication. I'm more of like a verbal. So I was like, okay, I can make videos. I can post things. So I took a before and after picture. I posted them in a ton of buy, sell, trade groups. There was probably spelling errors. People always call me out on that. But that's really how I blew up the business initially, was posting in those groups and posting on Facebook, doing the organic content. But I really wish I would have learned how to put the money behind ad dollars to grow, because I have a buddy that did that and his business does 2.2 million.
Nice.
You know, and I'm like, ugh, could have been me.
So how much do you spend any money, or do you have to spend any money on marketing and advertising right now?
Now I am. So during Spring Rush, I spent about $300 a day on marketing, because Spring Rush is like a really big time. This is my first year actually spending money on marketing. So I don't have anything to compare it to. Back then, my ad dollars would have went so much further. But because I've been creating content, I've also helped create a lot of competition, you know? So there's a lot more search volume. So the word poop scooping or pooper scooper costs more on Google now.
Mm-hmm. Now, as a service business owner, and I'm sure you're wearing multiple hats, are you doing the marketing and advertising? Like, what percentage of it are you doing it yourself versus maybe outsourcing or having somebody help you? And when should somebody make that transition?
For me, in hindsight, as soon as you start making money, as soon as you can start reinvesting back into the business, because one way or another, that money is going to get spent. So it depends on, are you going to spend it on something stupid, or are you going to spend it to grow your business? I've waited 7 years, and I finally just hired somebody to do my marketing and advertising, because I don't understand the stuff, and I tried, but I don't like it. I want to create the content. I want to be like, ooh, put this out there, and have the smart people behind the scenes do all that stuff.
I love it. How many people are currently on your team? Like the team, the virtual, everything, including, you know?
Well, I massively downsized, because can we kind of just talk about like the journey about like starting and then thinking that you need to grow big and have everything fancy, and then realizing that that's not all that in a bag of chips, and then you kind of trim the fat, because that's where I'm at right now, and trim the fat.
That's what we're here for. Okay.
So when I first got started, it was a 2007 Chevy Cobalt basic magnet. Who I am, what I do, how to get in touch with me. But then, you start seeing everybody online. Somebody gets a new vehicle, they get a new wrap, they get new branding. It's looking sweet. And then you start to get FOMO. You're like, oh, that needs to be me. I don't have a real business if I'm operating out of my garage. I don't have a real business if I don't have a bunch of staff or all these nice vehicles. So I went through the process of wanting to like upgrade everything so it looked nice. What I realized is it's very, very expensive. And when your employees, they necessarily aren't always going to respect your things. So last year I had one of my technicians total 2 of my company cars, fully wrapped, branded company cars. And it devastated me and my business. And so I kind of had to recalibrate like what's important. I need a vehicle that's going to get me safely to the property. We can scoop the poop. We can do what we need to do and then leave. Does it have to be brand new? Does it have to be fully wrapped? Like, it's nice, but I still get stopped when I have a magnet on the side of the truck. Like, people are still taking pictures when there's magnets. I think I put too much emphasis on looking a certain part, but then that was like draining the money in my bank account. And then when something bad happened, if I wouldn't have had God on my side last year, I would have shut my business down. I wholeheartedly believe it, because I was at such a low point that if somebody would have been like, here's $1, I I'll take your business. You don't have to worry about anything. I was on my hands and knees. I probably would have said, just take the business. I can't, I don't want to do this anymore. Having said that, me and the Lord and lots of prayers, we got through it. I trimmed the fat. I got rid of the office. I let go of my virtual assistant, and I went and bought a truck, a Colorado. She a little rusty. That's okay, for $3,800, and it gets me from point A to point B just fine.
I love it. So, that whole thing of wanting to, how can I say this? Sorry, that triggered me a little bit. 2024 was a tough year for a lot of people. I talked to a lot of business owners. It was a weird year too. It was like, I don't know. I feel like spinning wheels type of feeling. So I had an employee. He basically ran one of my trucks into my other truck, so it damaged both trucks. And I was like, oh man. So it's like, and I've been through that before, and it's fun. And the way I thought about it, I was like, wait a second, I'm learning all these lessons from when I worked for a ton of landscaping and different businesses before I started my own business. And I was driving a truck and trailer once, and I didn't see right in front of the truck, there was a huge pothole. And I just turned the key to go. I was driving my boss's truck and trailer. Boom, bent the whole axle on his trailer. So I've caused my share of damage out plowing snow. So it just all came back to me full circle, like karma. And I got to feel what it felt like. And every time I just kind of smiled and laughed. And so did you start out with a CRM right away, software, or what softwares do you use your business, or how did you start and how did you evolve into what you are now?
No, I didn't have, I think I was using like, I don't know, Square, some credit card processor. I had a notebook and I would like draw a line down the middle, make little squares. I would write the customer's information on there. Then I would look at a map, a paper map, and try to figure out where to route everything. And I remember this, it was on a Tuesday. It was a very full day. I think I maybe had 15 houses. It took me like 10 and a half hours to do these because I didn't understand route density and I didn't understand proper routing. So I'm like, I almost get home and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't scoop Gloria. And I was like, oh no. So I get back in the truck. I drive out to Redford. I scoop Gloria. The sun's going down. I'm bawling my eyes out. And I just do like a quick Google search. I'm like, how to route houses better or route something. And a Brian Fullerton video popped up. And I watched his video. And that's actually how I found you. And then I found Paul. And I found everybody that kind of like molded my business and my social media avenue now, because like when I found your videos and I seen how raw and real you were, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I need to do this for my community. So no, I didn't have a CRM and I didn't get one until like 2020 until I finally did some, actually, I watched one of your videos and I clicked your link and then I signed up for Jobber. Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you, so what do you like about Jobber software?
Oh, I love the two-way text messaging. I love the routing. Their templates, the new templates that they have for their quotes, fire.
Alexa, stop. Sorry, my Alexa just went off babbling about something. Keep going.
You're right. Yeah, the templates are pretty sweet. I'm really loving the insights because now I can see how my business is doing and like how many reoccurring, because we're like reoccurring maintenance. And so I want to know like how many reoccurring subscriptions do I have, because that's the bread and butter of our business. And then what's our average ticket price? So overall, I'm loving all of it. Like yesterday, it went down shortly and I was like, oh no. But luckily they have day sheets that I email out to my staff in the morning. So even if there is a glitch or there is an issue, we have all the data and all the information anyways.
Love it. Didn't they reach out to you to be an ambassador?
They eventually did. I was in their DMs for quite some time. Like, hey, I would love to be a content creator for you. Hey, there's not a lot of female representation. You don't have any pooper scoopers. And I want to say it probably took like 6 or 7 months and then they slid back. And I was like, what's up? Sure.
That's freaking awesome. I saw the a jobber ad come out, and I saw you on there with the pink shirt and everything, and it was freaking awesome. Good for you. I love it. So where did the YouTube and the social media content creation come in? And then a question alongside of that is, and I'm sure other people that have service businesses that want to create content to help other people, they're like, where do I draw the line between talking to my customers versus inspiring and talking to my community of other people in my industry?
I will tell you that creating content for your business is going to take a lot of time away from your business. And I went through a identity crisis of what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But basically what ended up happening is when I left the hospital, I had walked in, I said, I'm putting in my 2 months. I'm going to give you 2 months and then I have to leave. I'm going to go all into my business. Because I want to say at this time, I was already bringing in like $60,000 or 70. I had surpassed the income I was making at the hospital with retirement, healthcare, and I figured out insurance. I was like, okay, I can leave. Because within my first full year, I made $106,000 within my first full year of business, which was awesome.
Nice.
When I was leaving, hold on one second. Okay. When I was leaving the hospital, I had a little Android phone and I just recorded a video. I was like, I've been working at the hospital for 14 years. And I said 14 years, like a lot of times during that drive home. And it was a terrible video and I uploaded it on YouTube. And I just decided I was going to document my journey. And little by little, it just kind of snowballed into what it is now.
Nice. Did you ever have any, or did you hate your job?
It's not that I hated it. It didn't fulfill me. I was a very different person back then. I didn't have a lot of confidence. I used to be afraid to public speak. I wouldn't speak in front of people. I felt stupid. The hospital it wasn't for me. And I knew that I needed to do something different. I just wasn't sure what it was. And I was just a little wild and a little crazy enough and had the support of my then boyfriend, now husband, to just go all in on myself. And I said, I don't care, because the way that I feel now, this can't be it. Like, this cannot be the end for me.
Wow. I'm just letting that sink in. That was powerful. So many people are going to listen to that and just resonate with what you just said. Who do you want to inspire?
I'm going to try to get through this without crying. I want to inspire 15-year-old Erica, the one that had no self-worth, the one that was lost, that found her self-worth in partying, wearing clothes that were inappropriate, getting into relationships that were not good for her, treating people like crap. I want to inspire that person to know that just because you came from a certain place and you were raised a certain way and you were treated a certain way doesn't mean that you have to live that life. It doesn't mean you have to get stuck in the poverty loop. You can break away and you can make changes and you can grow. And it's okay to let those people go that are in your past, that are trying to keep you down and trying to keep you where they're at. I don't know if I'm essentially hitting those people yet, but that's who I would like to eventually get to, because I wish I would have had a big sister or somebody to like lean on and mentor me, because it was a struggle. It was a severe struggle up until even the last like 4 years. I was still struggling.
Boom. You're going to have the video to this. That'd be like a perfect reel, like a short, and just post that and that'll attract all the right people. That was fire. All right. So where do you see your business in 5 years?
I want to hit $1 million in revenue. That's what I want to do. And I used to be like, because I want to be able to brag about it. I want to be like a big dog. I got a big business. But what I really realized that it's not about the showing off. When I have $1 million business, that means I'm going to have probably 6 or 7 people on my team that I'm able to lead and I'm able to help and help grow. And going to the different events in the landscaping community, I realized that the folks that have the larger teams invest in their people. And like Troy Clogg said, pick a color, pick a purpose. He said that to me when I was chatting with him last fall. And so that's what I really want. I want to be able to impact people and lead them, because I grew up in Inkster. For people that don't know, that aren't from Michigan, a lot of times girls, they don't make it out of there. They end up with several baby daddies, drugs. It's not, a lot of times it's not a good outcome. And I just want people to know that you can make it out. You really can, but it all depends on your choices that you continuously make. And if you make a bad choice, what's your next choice going to be to counteract that?
Nice. So you become an example, a shining example.
Yeah. To answer these questions, it's hard because I don't know, man. I really don't know. I just want to keep growing. Like, I don't have a definitive, like, this is the goal. This is what I want. I want whatever the Lord's going to allow me to do.
I love it. And you're not afraid to talk about your faith on social media. That's huge. Were you ever before?
No. I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go here, but I was in a real low place to the point where, like, I wanted to go to sleep and I didn't want to wake up. And this wasn't that long ago. And a lot of issues, relationship issues, like the business is running, but at any given time, it's going to fall apart. I went to my friend's wedding, boozing it up. I'm having a good old time. And then I wasn't having a good time. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, I'm done drinking. And it was 2 years on March 28th or March 27th, I quit drinking. And because of that, I started talking to other people. I flew to Vegas for the jobber thing. I was chit-chatting with Paul, and I had a religious experience in Vegas to where my body was trembling and I was so scared of what I had felt that I came home the next day and I gave my heart to Jesus that next day. And I haven't looked back since.
This is good stuff right here. Back in 2017, 18, I built social media content around starting and growing your own landscaping business from 0 to 100K. But I also talked about this deep inner game stuff. And I talked about Jesus one time on a video, and people started trashing me in the comments and unsubscribing. Like, so wait a second, I say all these positive things that make sense, and then I say something else, and I'm like, so it was interesting to me. And I met a wise spiritual mentor friend, and I've also had some amazing experiences. Paul Jameson is one of the people that are powerful in that.
Paul is such a here we go. Paul is such an important person in my life. I really truly do feel like he I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but he will forever hold a special place, not only in my heart, but my husband's heart, because he has seen by Paul discipling me and leading me to the Lord, how my life has changed and how my marriage has changed.
It's amazing. I won't go too deep here, but some of my closest friends in the industry, they publicly talk about it. Anyway, so we get on the phone talking about business, and I always end up going back to talking about God and Jesus. And I'm the guy who has 20 questions. So like I said, I won't go too deep here, but I want to logically quantify things. And I learned, well, one, that it's actually completely logical, and two, prayer is a spiritual technology. And so when I brought that stuff up to Paul, I'm just going to say it. You go to God with a contrite heart, and just, there's a saying, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. So people that have their guard up, it's fun. My friend Joshua Latimer calls it his sneaky Jesus strategy.
Oh.
So when he's mentoring or coaching or talking to people, he has this sneaky Jesus strategy to eventually get them to, I can't speak for him, but let their guard down. And when it happens to them, like that, the spiritual experience that happened to you when your body was trembling, we call it, is that the fear of the living God comes over you and everything becomes really crystal clear in that moment. And so I had a lot of anxiety a few years ago because I was kind of lukewarm, sitting on the fence of just, we're talking going all in. Mm-hmm. So, because it feels like you're putting a lot at risk, but you're really not actually. And a friend of mine who's a spiritual advisor, very wise human being, he said, I brought this up to him, like, why do I feel this anxiety around this? And he goes, because you're being lukewarm, brother. And it's like, so I'll kind of stop right there. But that's when I started bringing up these conversations to Paul. And so I say, like, this is awesome, this direction that you're on, and this path that you're on. Your vulnerability is amazing. Vulnerability is the new credibility. And so I think it's freaking awesome. What is a time that you really messed up? I'll switch lanes now. What's a time you really messed up, and how did you handle it in your business?
If you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
By getting my office, like that, it's so embarrassing to even admit, but I really, in my brain, I was like, I can't operate out of this garage anymore. But at the time, like, my husband was still drinking. Was I drinking? I don't think I was drinking. There was beer bottles all over the place. It was like the garage was messy because he hadn't like upgraded how he operated. He was still kind of like, he was messy. And I was embarrassed of the state of the garage. So anyways, I go and I get this office space out in Northville because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get where the rich people are. I'm moving out to Northville because they won't let me into the buy-sell trade groups. But if I got an address, they got to let me in. It was $1,900 a month. Okay, nobody that I'm going to hire to scoop dog poop is going to drive out to Northville or live out in Northville. So I was at that office by myself. It was a podcast studio. So it was a $1,900 a month overhead, a 45-minute commute both ways. And it was financially stressing me out because I didn't grow the business like I intended. I lost 2 company vehicles, totals, right? Not just like dingers, like totaled them out. And then I have all this overhead. So I will say that by far was, I would say that was a huge financial mistake because I could have put that money towards advertising.
Nice. And how did you actually handle it?
I waited until my lease was up, and this is my last month in there. I humbled myself. I'm moving into a much more modest place with a better connection. And I brought my podcast studio back into my bedroom where I feel comfortable.
That's perfect. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Wow. Okay. Let me think. Is there anything, I'm asking you a bunch of questions, anything that you would like to talk about and share?
Well, for people that are listening to this, I think, well, who's the audience? Is this people that are business or the people that are wanting to do social media? A little bit of a mix of both?
Most of the people are watching. You could let me know in the comments below. Fire below in the comments a bunch of thumbs up and hearts, and let us know who you are, where you're from, what you do, and why you're here. I'm aware that most are service business owners or people that want to be a service business. And then my aunt Ruthie's probably watching. Hi, Aunt Ruthie. I love you.
Hi, Aunt Ruthie. That's fun. You know, for like business, I would just say try to keep it lean. I know it's really easy to, I do it, I'm guilty of it, hiding out in the business, going out there and scooping, earbuds in, just doing my thing. I'm not worrying about my taxes. I'm not worrying about that email with the customer that's freaking out about something. I can just hide in the business. But I really do think that if you want to grow, you don't have to. If you want to stay solo, you can generate 6 figures, which I imagine with you guys, you can generate 6 figures being solo, or is that not possible?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So you can make a good living staying solo. It's just a matter of what do you want? Do you want more time back? Because if you stay solo, you don't get sick days. If you gotta skip work, you gotta make that work up somehow. There's nobody to catch up for you. So it's like you have to figure out what you want. But when you transition to over having staff, yes, your profits get cut, right? And you are spending more money, but now you're able to grow a team. You're investing in people. And I didn't have the confidence to really do that. I didn't think that I was a good leader. That was just me in my own mind. And that was the devil trying to keep me suppressed. And now I realize that. Um, and as you go through these experiences in business, the first time the car accident happened, it's like, oh, the business is ruined. That's it. But now it's like, okay, I know what to do. I know how to file gap insurance. I know how to do all this. So it all compounds on each other the longer you have been in business. So when an employee calls in or they no call, no show you and abruptly quit via text message, like happened 2 days ago, before I would be spiraling, like literally losing my mind, like, it's over. It's done. My business is kaput. Now it's like, okay, flip on the Indeed ad. Let's get some people in here. Let's roll.
Nice. Yeah, I've had these kind of epiphanies where something happens. It's got that T-shirt. Everything is my fault.
Yeah.
So I would go into get caught in the doom loop or in the swirl of anxiousness. Like, I can't believe this is happening. I just hired these people and they're not showing up on Monday. Now I have to jump out of the frying pan into the fire. I got to call and reschedule a bunch of people. Now I can't get this. And you start dominoing into this panic state. And then one day I stopped after doing years of this crap to myself. I said, wait a second. Who cares about this right now? Nobody. I was like, if I cry about it harder and harder, will that make anybody care? They'll care even less. So I was like, wait a second. Then I don't care about the problem. Tony Robbins said, focus, 80% of your focus, your consciousness on the solution. And that's kind of hard when things keep repeatedly happening over and over and over and over. It can get you into a place of discouragement,
Well, it's like, why does that keep happening though? And that's where you were saying like, everything's my fault. I had to take accountability. Like, I remember I was for a while there, I was blaming the devastation of the business on the scooper. No, I stopped myself mid complaint. I said, you know what? This was all my fault. This was literally all my fault. There were issues that I put to the side because I wasn't focused and I didn't want to have those difficult conversations because I was a scaredy cat. So this is my fault. And then my trainer, Mike, was like, it was your fault. And I'm like, it was. And I went back to doing my whatever curls those are for the flabby arms. But once I was able to accept that it really, truly was my fault, I'm like, okay, well, you just got to have the difficult conversations. When you see an issue, handle it right away. Procrastination will be the demise of a business owner. So if you're a procrastinator, stop procrastinating and literally take care of what you need to take care of, because things are going to happen one way or another. It's like, are you handling it or you're not? Because it's going to get handled.
I love it. There's some great books. The book on audible.com is Difficult Conversations. There's another book called Crucial Conversations. There's another book coinciding with she talking about Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and another book called Traction by Gino Wickman. Listen to those books and those make sense. So Mr. Bubbles, $20 on Super Chat. Thank you very much. Has a question. What's your go-to method for getting new customers? Thank you, Mr. Bubbles.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bubbles. I appreciate it. It's Facebook and Google. I mean, with having over 400 Google reviews, I rank pretty much top on Google. So both of those. And then social media. It's a lot of Facebook. The Facebook is going to be I'm just thinking about it. I seen you. I'm kind of curious, tire kicking. So you'll get more volume, but the qualified leads aren't as good as Google because they specifically went to Google to look you up and they're contacting you. So both of those are very, very good.
And I see, because you have so many positive 5-star reviews, you probably show up at the top of the Google 3-pack, like boom, anybody looking for that service?
Oh yeah, I'm dominating it.
Nice. And what are the different modalities you're using to actually market your business?
What's a modality mean?
A modality means a way of doing things. There's different ways of doing things, modes of doing things.
So for marketing, I have my ads person that's doing my ads. He puts those out. And then I run an awareness campaign actually that's just very like top funnel. Like, what does the video say? Slow your scroll, slow your scroll. My name is Erica Krupin. And it's like this whole thing. And I'm like, what's your name? And I start talking and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't even give you time to introduce yourself. I'm sorry, that was rude. And I pause and I'm like, nice to meet you. That has actually gained, I have gotten thousands of reactions, like thousands and thousands of views. So that one's doing pretty well. I think I put like $5 a day behind it on Facebook. Super inexpensive. I have my business cards at all of the vet clinics, just trying to create awareness and then keeping all of my branding, the hot pink, very cohesive. Yard signs are hot pink. So it's
business cards at vet clinics. That's genius.
Yeah, vet offices, doggy daycares, what is it? Pet stores, like anything that's like pet related. I'll have a card there.
My marketing brain wheels are spinning. Okay.
So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, do you have more time than money or do you have more money than time? Because if you have more time than money, that's where you're going to do that organic. You're going to be out in the out networking, putting out door hangers. But if you have more money, that's when you're going to really sink money into strategic ads and re-engagement campaigns. I'm at that point now where I kind of got a little bit smarter. We reduced our home bills. I reduced the business bills. So I'm just not playing around anymore. I don't even have my nails done because I am sinking so much money into advertising because I'm going all in.
I love it. What's the name of your podcast? Where can everybody find you on social media?
So the name of the podcast is The Scoop Podcast with Erica Krupin. And then if you just type in Erica Krupin or Krupin's Poopin Scoopin, there's just an array of content on all the platforms.
Nice. And so what platforms is the podcast on?
It's on Apple Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's on like everywhere. The video podcast is on YouTube as well.
Awesome. And then so just type in Erica Krupin on Instagram, TikTok, anywhere, you'll pop up.
Yeah, I'm on all of them. I was able to lock all of that in.
Perfect. And are any live events that you plan on going to this year?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be talking at ScoopCon in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's May 24th and 25th. My buddy has the Poop Scoop Millionaire, and he is putting on ScoopCon, and I'm one of the featured speakers. I have dreamt of this. Ever since I seen your presentation of Know Your Worth, I'm like, oh gosh, that's going to be me one day. And it's taken 5 or 6 years, but hey, we're here.
That's awesome. Hey, this tip I learned about public speaking, there's this thing, it's like $65. It's called the Rode Smart Lav Plus by Rode Microphones. Everybody knows that. But the Smart Lav plugs right into your mobile device and you can just put your phone in your pocket and you run it down so it's like a little lavalier mic and you put your phone in airplane mode and then you'll have this high quality recording of your speech that you can use to repurpose or post on your podcast. So it's like whenever I speak, if I don't hire a videographer, I'll bring a couple of cameras like camcorders and tripods that can record long format. And then now you have like content on social media and it gets you more public talks. And it's like,
what about, because I have this, I got the DJI mic and that goes
those
to
are the best. Oh yeah, your mic has a built-in internal recorder. You can just press the button and it turns red, right?
Yeah.
You're set.
Okay, cool.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when is that again? In May in Idaho?
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It's May 24th and May 25th. If anybody wants to check it out, it's called ScoopCon 2025. And it's going to be some industry leaders within the poop scooping community, some OGs and some new people. And we're just going to build community. After going to the different events within the landscaping community, I always thought we got to have something like this for the poop scooping industry. And now that it is actually growing, it's getting larger and larger. It's finally happening. And now I get to meet so many people that have been engaging with me over the past 5 or 6 years.
Love it.
I know, it's going to be so good.
So what's a word of advice that you would love to give to somebody who's listening to this right now that's like they really want to start their own business? They're having maybe trouble believing in themselves or getting the confidence, or they feel like they don't have the money to start and they just feel like they're stuck in this loop and they want to break free.
This is something I heard that rocked my world. One that controls your emotions controls you. One that controls your emotions controls you. That's something I had to like really set on because I'm an emotional person by nature. And I allowed emotions to dictate choices that I would make or not make. So I would say try to take the emotions out of stuff, good or bad, right? Because it's going to alter your reality and make data-driven decisions, lay out the facts and go through it. And that's how you make your decisions. And if you're hemming and hawing, you're like, should I do it? Should I not? Just do it. Like, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Start it. If it doesn't work out, okay, it didn't work out. Move on to the next. What if you don't know what to do? That's okay. That's how you figure out how to do it, by doing the things and either succeeding or failing. Then you learn and you adjust and make better decisions moving forward.
I have to actually share something that popped up as you're saying that. If you look behind me on the video version of this, you can see these like honeycomb wood wall panel things. They match my brand. I got them from Etsy a few months ago. They're just sitting around. And I was stuck in this like, I don't know, like emotional brick wall of emotion of where am I going to put these things with this studio here? And so I was like, I don't know where to put them. And then one day I was like, wait a second. I have to literally just put them on the wall somewhere and see them on the wall and then decide I can move them from there. It's not some like freaking life-changing or threatening decision, or just like getting one client. What if I got one side job of one client, one little tiny job? It's like the journey of a thousand miles starts with a single step.
Yeah.
And some of us tend to look at, we want to over plan. We're too afraid to go do the thing. So we just keep learning more and more about it. And then we work ourselves into this place where it feels like the impossible step.
Yeah. So it's like analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Layla Hermosi was talking about this, and she was talking about being successful. I don't know if you follow Alex Hermosi, but his wife was talking about it. And she said that sometimes people that are really smart, they're not able to be successful because they overthink stuff so much. So sometimes you got to be a little stupid because you don't really understand the risks of what's going on. So you just kind of like do it. And I'm like, you know what? That's right. Because some of my best decisions that have worked out for me is when I'm just like, whatever, we'll see what happens. We'll figure it out after.
Oh, we have a comment coming in here. Thank you guys for sharing your wisdom, experience, and faith. You guys inspire me. I'm at the beginning and finally found direction and cutting off everything no longer serving me. Appreciate this.
Amen.
So that's one final question. Well, maybe I have two more, but one for sure is, what about like setting boundaries and to focus and put rails up to create constraints to propel you upward?
I created a group called the Untrapped Alliance where we go live every other Wednesday night in a controlled environment. I'm sick of scrolling on social media. I'm sure you are too. Let's get focused on our businesses. We already started the group, so if you join at keithkalfas.com/alliance, you can get access to the replays. And the bonus is we're gonna have special guest experts who run multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. They're gonna come on and teach us how to do sales, marketing, persuasion, close higher ticket jobs. These are people who got their shit together. And I'm really excited to have them on. Go to keithkalfas.com/alliance. I'll see you on the Wednesday night call. Let's go.
When I quit drinking the alcohol, that was the first step. I quit doing that because any foul thing that I ever came out of my mouth, any fight that I had ever gotten into, any poor decision I made was all by alcohol. Like when I would drink, it was like, it was allowing me to be the person that the devil wanted me to be. So I quit doing that. And then slowly I just started cutting people out of my life little by little. And in other people's stories, I am not a very good person. That's okay. I'm okay with that decision because they weren't benefiting me and they weren't serving me or my marriage. And the same thing with working out, right? So I had to give up staying late because I wake up at 4 a.m. I'm to the gym by 4:45, working out 3 days a week. Food, I still have some sweets, but my diet is pretty well intact. So that I'm able to be, I'm physically healthy. I don't have bad influences around me. So that I'm able to like focus. Social media is a huge distraction for me. So I actually got rid of TikTok because I caught myself going down TikTok holes that weren't good for me. Like I was on like the bad side of TikTok where I'm like, oh, this is great. It's not great. So that is actually one platform that I got off of my phone. And I've been really focusing just on YouTube because YouTube is like, it's my home. I love YouTube, and that's where I really want to stay. So I just had to be really clear of like, I only have so much time in the day and I only have so much bandwidth. So what am I going to focus on? And people will call you a bad person. They'll call you selfish. They'll call you whatever it is. They'll show up at your door, knock on your door and be like, why won't you talk to me? Because you do stuff like this. This is disrespectful. That's why. So yeah, it's just, sometimes you just have to be a jerk and be like, this is what's important. Me, my family, my life.
I love it. I think what Russell Brunson said, we are creators of content and marketing, not consumers. So I've taught myself not to scroll with my thumb. So I get in,
How? You do it with your pinky?
No. What I mean is like when you go in, you check your analytics, you upload content and say, if you only have 30 minutes to upload your marketing messaging and all your content to social media, and then you start to scroll, because I've been in like Facebook will literally show you freaking people getting in car accidents. And like, I was actually talking to my buddy who's Quentin. He's a amazing filmmaker, videographer. I was like, bro, I'm so pissed off at myself. This was like a couple years ago. I spent like 2-3 hours down the TikTok rabbit hole with all the alien stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I said, and then I'm like watching this video of like a fire truck sliding down an icy road and it's spinning and smashing into cars. And I felt bad. I'm telling this. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, those ones are the best, bro. And we just cracked up laughing so hard. And then like, I don't know, my sister-in-law will send my wife these hilarious TikToks, and then my wife will be just screaming, laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? And then I'll look and some of it's funny. But like, there's like a line. You're like, wait a second. I only have a limited amount of time right now to get this done right now. And it's like, my Facebook ads guy, I just had a meeting with him a couple hours ago. When we hop on a 60-minute Zoom call to work on our ads, we have 60 minutes. And there's times I've jumped off the Zoom. If we even go to chit chat or crack jokes, I'm like, I can't get that time back now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess the pain of not getting results has gotten like, it's the people that get very refined about the details and the seriousness of moving forward every single minute. Okay.
Yeah, I got to get better about that. Like yesterday, with my new kid just like abruptly quitting on me, and I was like invested in him because I was like, oh, I can mentor him. Like, this is going to be so good. I see so much potential in him. And then just like no call, no showed, and like wouldn't call, would only text. And I was upset. I'm like, what could I have done better? I was like in my feels. And then I caught myself going to like my unhealthy space where I just want to like hide in my phone. I'm running a business, 2 businesses. I have a social media company and I have my poop scooping company. I have no business laying in bed, scrolling on Facebook or YouTube, watching stupid farm videos for more than 15 or 20 minutes. And it's really upsetting that I do that stuff.
Brandon Vaughn said something amazing. He's built a bunch of businesses like Wise Codings. He built the original Conquer coaching group. And
I've seen him on social. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, this dude runs 11 companies from his house virtually. Wow. He's just like on a walking treadmill, and he has like 11 CEOs. He's a wizard. He's amazing. So he said a mistake that he made was thinking every new employee he hired or new position was gonna be the savior of his company. He's like, oh, this person, and you see all the potential in them, and then when they don't freaking show up on Monday, you're just crushed. And so it's like,
dude, I went to his house. Can I tell you this?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm like invested in this kid, right? I was like, he's got some things. I've been there. I know it. I know exactly what's going on. Like I can see it because I've walked through it. He wants to get around people that are doing better. He's not around those people. I'm like, I know those people. I got myself. I can help this kid. So anyways, he don't come in. I'm like worried. I'm concerned because I'm like, this is so weird for him going to being so early, like 30 minutes early, sitting outside, waiting to start, communicating to nothing. I'm like, there's something wrong with him. I drive to his house, okay? And I'm like, I'm just going to check in on him. I'm doing a wellness check at this point. And it was in, it's a city in Detroit that I guess I really shouldn't have went into, but I went there with my pink truck and I drove and I knocked on his window. He didn't answer. And I put a little Post-it note on his door and I said, hi, blank. This is Erica. I just wanted to check in to make sure you're okay. And then I underlined okay. If there's anything Joshua and I can do for you, please let me know. Because I just wanted him to know that we're here for him. Like, I'm not mad at you. There's obviously something going on, but we're here for you if you need it. And then he finally got in touch with me and texted me. I didn't get a phone call and he quit. But I'm like, dang, man. But Josh was like, man, you're dedicated. I'm like, because I see potential in this guy and I feel like I just can't give up on him. I just need to make sure he's okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had people randomly quit that were doing great. And I was finally like, yeah, it's okay. This is starting to work. This person they're showing up every day. They're doing good. Wow, they're better at this than I thought they would be. And then boom, they just disappear and I don't hear from them.
Well, as a leader, you're like, what could I have done better? Like, what did I was like, what did I do wrong? Like, what is it? And I just had to like, I was praying and thinking on it that it just happens. People are people and young people are going to do what young people do. So
I had one guy show up to the job site. He, the side of his car had huge, like big circular burn marks on the side of them. I was like, and he was like wobbling around. I was like, are you okay, bro? And I guess he hadn't slept all night and he was out like partying, and then he fell asleep at the wheel and rubbed against a semi truck on the freeway.
And still showed up for work.
And he still showed up for work. And I wouldn't let anybody like that drive a vehicle. And obviously we do background check, drug screen, all that. There's like 43 pages that anybody has to sign before they can work for me. But like,
a drug screen, that one's gotta be hard, especially here in Michigan.
I don't know. It's just part of our policy and I pay for it and I go do it and it's fine. But
I probably should. Maybe that's why I wouldn't have as many accidents because I got 3. No, I don't. I don't do landscaping. I've been asked to do it, but we are solely just poop scooping. We go in and we scoop. I am entertaining the idea of offering like a deodorizer for the areas for the residential. And then I also do commercial where we service HOA communities, dog parks with those green dog waste stations. We will install those as well as maintenance them on a reoccurring schedule.
You just reminded me of something. Joshua Latimer was at this mastermind event one time. All these high-level business owners had to stand up. Anybody makes less than $1 million, sit down. 2 million, sit down. More people kept sitting down. 5, 10, 15, 20 million, 15 million. Everybody sits down except for one guy. 20 million. The guy's still standing. And he said he was just this kind of like nerdy guy with glasses. And everybody's all confused. Like you do 20 million a year. He's like, everybody's like, well, what do you do? What is your business? And he's like, gutter cleaning. and he's like, and what else? Just gutter cleaning. And I was like, everybody was like perplexed because this guy went all in. He became the best in his entire state at one thing. So in the beginning of my business, I would do anything I considered painting somebody's shed once and I had to stop myself just to get money. I've climbed on roofs in the freezing cold, almost falling to my death to clean gutters. Crazy stuff. So what makes you be strict with yourself and say, we're focusing on this?
I don't really have other skill sets. I mean, I've only mowed like 2 lawns in my life. I don't really know how to do that. I did try dog walking, but I got humped by another stray dog while I was walking the dog. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm over that. And it's just easier. I got this one service that I know that I need to do, and we've just stayed pretty busy and pretty consistent with it. So why fix it if it's not broke?
That's freaking awesome. All right, so we're coming up. We're on an hour here. Let's see, we covered a whole bunch of topics. This has been fire.
This has been great. I've wanted to do an interview with you for quite some time. I love how deep, and when you like your rabbit holes and stuff like that, it's just interesting. I'm like, oh yeah, he's hitting on some good stuff.
I used to go too far with it. I was on a stage at a live panel at the Equip Expo a couple of years ago, and I'm like, there's like 800 people in the room, and Brian Fullerton and Naylor Taliaferro were both there. Paul was on stage too, and when they asked Keith Kelfus a question and they gave me the mic, all of them looked at me, and they were like, because
be cool, man.
Yeah, because I'll go down the rabbit hole, and I love to get the reaction of the people in the audience. And I'll first, 800 people, they asked me a question about business. I go, well, first of all, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Like 3/4 of the room, they sink into their seat. And then, so stuff like that is really fun to do. Or I'll say, just get down the rabbit hole of the neuroscience side of stuff. But sometimes it's important to stay tofu, mofu, bofu, top of funnel with that. But then after I got off stage, a lady came up to me with tears in her eyes, and she's like, thank you for saying that, or for being an example, because she like brought her teenage son, and she's like, you're not afraid to talk about this stuff. And I got off stage another time, and another lady and her husband, they're like, something that you said, I said, helped them get over the edge in their faith of something that they were lukewarm on. And I was like, so if you feel something important to come through and you speak it, I think it's being obedient, or otherwise you're just going to be like everybody else. So are you excited about your speech coming up?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm like I need to finalize it. I need to practice it, but then I don't want to practice it too much, because it's like I want to have my key points, but I want to roll with it naturally. So yes, all of the above, all of the emotions.
Okay. I felt bad you were going to say something and I randomly inserted a question.
I think, Mr. Producer, there was a couple episodes that I had recorded where I got a little bit more vulnerable, and I did talk about my faith, and I was like, I don't know, should I post this? I'm not really too sure. And he gave me some good feedback, and he was there for me when I posted those. And those type of content or videos, I'm not going to say they perform well, but they're the ones that reach people and are the ones that are making an impact. And yeah, having a video that does 20,000, 30,000, it's really impressive. But when I get an email from somebody saying, thank you so much, this really, reached me where I'm at, I find that to be more valuable and it's more purposeful. So I think it is important to talk about it. Obviously, read the room, but if you can disciple one person and then that person disciples somebody, we're doing what the Lord wants us to do.
I like that. Nice. So where can everybody find you again one more time for the new people that have joined on the live?
Yeah, Instagram, preferably YouTube. Please find me over on YouTube, because I am trying to grow my channel. I'm at 7,000 subscribers. I would love to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. I think it's going to happen. So if you just type in Erica Krupin or Krupin's Poopin Scoopin or The Scoop Podcast, you'll find me on all of the platforms.
For those listening right now that are only listening, can you spell your name?
Oh, so it's Erica, Erica, Krupin, Krupin. So, but then Krupin's Poopin Scoopin is spelled Kroopin, and then Poopin Scoopin.
Awesome. Everybody go check her out on YouTube and hit the subscribe button and check out her podcast. Thank you so much for being on the Untrapped podcast. I really appreciate it, and congratulations on your success, and looking forward to see your journey in the future and everything that you're doing. And I know you're going to crush it with your talk.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Your live speech coming up. All right, later, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.